All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a wonderful morning or evening or afternoon or night. Whatever time it is in your part of the galaxy. Hope you're making it a great day. Got a GAC to play today on my Loquitur account. Looks like a mirror of my last GAC where Ray's holding on the back wall. So maybe that's going to be the case again today. And maybe we can repeat the success of last time. So the last player, when he got done playing, still had ships and Ray and cleared everything else. And in today's fight, we've got Ray. Oh, he's clearing ships now, though. Okay. So he's working his way through my ships. Fair enough. But there we go. We got Ray in here. We've got potentially a hold. He's fought 4 battles against that Ray, so I feel like after 4 battles, that's probably it. So that's good. That's good. Ilya says hello. KY says my lawn mowing time. Lawn mowing time in my part of the galaxy. We'll try to listen though. I wish I had a noisemaker. I could make a big loud sound like rocks pinging off the lawnmower deck and make you wonder if you were like running over something important while you were mowing your lawn. All right, well, I'm just going to jump in here. I also want to talk a little bit about a little thing that influenced me. You know, I read it when I was in college. It made sense to me in a certain way. I've tried to apply it in some situations throughout my life. So I'll share it with you. Maybe a little bit of life wisdom. Who knows? But maybe about halfway through, when we get some more people in here, we'll talk about the Law of Fives and the Principia Discordia. That's my plan for the morning. All right, let's get in here and have a look at Lee JB 1131. 12.9 million galactic power, 8 in characters, 4-7 in ships. That's pretty much all the ships. Galactic War Battles, 130,000. So that's 7.5 years. 7 years, thereabout. All right. So if we go look at ships, we find what we expect, right? Executor, Profundity, Leviathan, all finished. Most of the ships are relict. We've got Gear 12 Consular down here, but other than that, ships are done. Nothing to see here. On the character side of things, 9 Galactic Legends, and then all the usual suspects. So this player's pretty well caught up. Balin, Great Mothers, all of the usual characters. Some extra Relic 9 stuff. Third Sisters at Relic 9, for example. His Bane's all the way up to Relic 9. I like that move on my account. Jocasta Nu is in here already at Relic 9. So we've got a fairly complete account here. You know, you look at the things that aren't relict, and there's only just like, you know, the very worst stuff in the game. And, you know, the new Dark Side clones, the newest stuff. Wow, he's got the Bad Batch, the new Bad Batch, already rolling. He's just finishing up Crosshair here. Wrecker. It looks like some of the other guys are already done. Wow. All right. So, yeah, pretty much an end game account here. Let's take a look at speed. Somebody did answer. I was asking in one of my prior streams I noticed that a lot of people are making Ezra Bridger, Exile, super fast. Like the fastest character in their account. So I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why you would make Ezra that fast. But apparently, there's some counters to the Ahsoka team using Great Mothers or potentially even a really fast Maul. And if your Maul goes faster than the whole rest of the enemy team, you can basically, theoretically, zero out their Ahsoka. And then your team will probably lose to the rest of the team. But it's a two-shot, like kind of a guaranteed two-shot without using a Galactic Legend team. So if your Ezra Bridger is faster and he goes before the enemy team, then that counter apparently doesn't work. So that's, I guess that's why people are making their Ezra super fast. Just, somebody shared that with me. I thought it was great, so I'll share it with the rest of y'all. And then maybe I'll go make my Ezra Bridger stupid fast today at my update. Hugsy says, evening, Mr. Loquitur, best of luck. Oh, thank you. Wannabe Gamer says, good evening. Sorry, good morning. Not the normal one that I'm able to catch. Wannabe Gamer says, mine are 6-star, also no money spent. Yeah, I leaned in on the marquees quite a bit, and those characters are close. I think Omega is close to being 7 stars already, and so yeah, I'm with you guys. If you double farm them since they became farmable, you could have all but Crosshair 7-star. But now, Wannabe Gamer says DL hair looks red. It's really red. It's bright orange. it's red orange, and let's see if turning on the light here makes a difference. Yeah, maybe you guys can see. It's it's quite obnoxious. Yeah, so my daughter last year, she got the bottom half of her hair dyed purple. And I encourage her to do stuff, if she wants to do stuff like that, I encourage her to do it because, everybody has to find their identity, and parents who just stop their kids from doing anything fun just increase the likelihood that they'll be doing something crazy in their teenage years, go get a piercing or a tattoo or some crazy stuff to exert their own identity. So, I don't want my daughter to have to do that. So last year she did purple, and this year she wanted to do like green or red or something. And we got to talking, and I don't remember whose idea it was, either mine or hers or whatever, but we kind of came to the agreement that if she dyed her hair this summer, that we should match. So we went in to look at colors this week, and the place where we went in, there was nobody in there. They had no appointments. So they're like, yeah, we could do it right now if you want to. So we just sat down and got her hair dyed. So she got the bottom half of her hair this color. And I got of course my hair's too short to do part. I can't do the tips of my hair in a certain color because it's too short for that. So yeah, I'm bright orangey red hair to match my daughter for the summer. Jar Jar says, oh no, what happened to your hair? I'll turn on the light. I'll highlight the hair. I'll make it obvious to everybody. No, it's just having fun with my kiddo. When you're working for somebody else and you're in a professional organization, it's a bit different. You have to explain yourself to people, or if you're on a sales call, I suppose people wouldn't take me as seriously if I had the Ronald McDonald hair going on. But since I'm not currently working for somebody else, I don't have that restriction anymore. I can sort of, if people look at me funny in public, kind of don't care. All right, so 360 on Moff Gideon is his fastest character. And down here on Piet, a row down, 337. So it looks like he's got plenty of fast characters. His mods are probably, you know, like if you looked at his mod score, it's probably a little lower than mine, but we don't have much of a mod advantage. So he's got us on characters, he's got us on ships, and we don't really have much of a mod advantage on him. So that leaves nothing but tactics, right? And my tactics worked out here. He cleared my front walls easily, but then got to the back walls and he had Queen Amidala, the Inquisitors, and ready to deal with. And we ran him out of tools. So, good stuff. Now, on the other side of things, we got to find out if we can close the deal the other way around. All right, so we've got a Jocasta new team here. Oh, as of lock-in, Jocasta was only Relic 8, so he had not Relic 9'd her yet. We do have the Ahsoka team with the Ezra Bridger. Okay. And I've fought that with Leia plenty of times. But last round, I actually lost this with Leia. And I had to come in and clean it up. Somebody said that SLKR was actually a more reliable counter to this than Leia. But I don't know if that's true. I'm going to go take a look and see what people are using against this as like the best win rate. I feel like Leia must be the best win rate, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a really high win rate with Rex in it. Interesting. Or with the Raddus Jin. Yeah, so maybe I have to reserve Raddus Jin for this in the future if I want to sort of guarantee this counter. I got some Bane against it, some Sith Eternal Bane. I don't really see SLKR. Oh, 93% win rate with SLKR. 93%. 91% with the kind of team that I have to use. 9/10. There's some kind of crazy Son of Staros team in here. So if I don't have Raddus and Jin to put in here, all right, Knight of Ni says, Ni, how's everybody today? Lightsabers deployed. C-3PO on Rey is interesting. Could you explain the lineup? I haven't seen that before. Leia is best banners. Kylo is most reliable in my experience. Jar Jar says Ufu work as well. Don't know the win percent rate there though. Wannabe Gamer says gonna be so happy when the evasion crons leave. Explain the C-3PO. Okay, here's my explanation for C-3PO. Well, you can't really see it, so let's go to my defenses. Edit defense, and what I've done is I put this CLS team on defense, and I replaced C-3PO with Son of Staros. So we get evasion mechanics on 3 out of 5 of these characters in the CLS team. We get, the Son of Staros mechanics, of course. And there's decent stats here. We got some crit chance, health protection. I wish the stats were different and better. But I didn't spend a whole lot of resources to re-roll it. But this team has, there's been quite a few rounds of GAC now where this team is a 2-shot. So I imagine to myself that people come in here and they forget about or don't realize or don't think about this 100% evasion nonsense. So they can kill Chupio and CLS, but then these guys either kill their team or time out. Well, then they just come back in and they clean it up on the second go. But it's kind of a team where it's just like if the opponent's not paying attention or they go in here with something light, then it's a 2-shot. That frees up C-3PO. So with the Ray team, I put C-3PO in there just because the computer's going to prioritize this. And this gives stacks of confusion, which prevent buffs. And there's circumstances where you can imagine that between Nest, her basic says deal physical damage if the target has defensive buffs to dispel them. So we've got the Kron where she's dispelling buffs. We've got C-3PO potentially making it difficult for the enemy to gain buffs because they're confused. And then we've just got the typical Ben Ezra nonsense here. So the only reason C-3PO is in there is literally because he's available. Right? And this is kind of a tankless team other than Ezra. So I don't want to put in another tank that's going to taunt and then just get killed. The whole idea behind, the buff removal or making it hard for them to get taunts, it's just so that when Rey uses her whirlwind, so maybe people come into this battle with like a Star Killer counter or something like that, and they've got Ben Solo or another tank. And they put up that taunt, and the taunt gets immediately removed. And if she gets a quick whirlwind on Mara Jade or some important character on the team, it's just over, right? So I don't know. The C-3PO was there. He was available. I thought, that's interesting. So I chucked him in there. But typically, you wouldn't want to put him there because he belongs with the CLS team or, something else. But, so it's just kind of like, well, kind of a unique circumstance. So let's chuck him in there. The CLS Sana is a sneaky move, and 100% agree it's easy to catch people. Yep. And again, my defense is not good enough to stop most opponents. So what I'm trying to do with it is just make it annoying enough where they have to use teams that are, good enough. And eventually they just run out of the... Like most of my defenses, you need an S tier or an A tier team to beat, and they just run out of those teams. That's the concept that I'm trying to use right now, because I am carrying an awful lot of stuff on offense. Up top, we do have a Lord Vader here, but it's kind of the old Lord Vader comp. The Maul's only Relic 5, so it's not too scary. Probably use JML here. Probably just mirror match with JMK on this one. We've got the Remnant here, and we had success with Sidious against this Remnant. So all other things aside, we will probably try to use Sidious here. This Rey, it'll be down to SLKR, Sith Eternal. Maybe we can use Bo-Katan here if we don't need her for something else to free up JML for this. That might be good. Bo-Katan here, JML would be good. But we kind of got to see what's on the back wall and make sure we save the right tools. It does mean that we pretty much have to use the Bane for this Queen Amidala team. So we'll use the Bane here. We'll try the Leia here. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to use on this Star Killer team. And I got to figure out what I'm going to use on this Jedi team. I may just two-shot the Jedi team intentionally. Again, we're only looking for a full clear here. We don't have to go for the absolute maximum banners. So the right thing to do might be just to two-shot that Qui-Gon Jinn team. We got Dookie up to Relic 8 now. So we can put a Relic 8 Dookie in here. And this is pretty good crit damage and armor penetration. This is tons of everything that we want on our Bane. So I think that's good. Sidious solo can do the Star Killer. Bounty Hunters versus Lord Vader. The Bounty Hunters are pretty good into Lord Vader. But the Datacron sets recently, man, I've had problems with it. Get tons of armor penetration, and then, like, they strip the taunt off of Bosk, and they just one-shot my Fennec. And once Fennec's gone, I mean, I could probably kill most of the team. Like, that's what happened last time I tried it. I killed all but Lord Vader and I think Piet. So I had to clean it up, and it wasn't a problem to clean it up. But the issue I have is kind of like the Datacrons are good enough that my bounty hunters get killed. I don't have the I guess I do have Beskar Mando back on offense now that I changed my defense. So I could try the bounty hunters with the Beskar Mando in it. I could do that. I think Bo-Katan is easiest, right? So if Bo-Katan is available, if we don't need her on the back wall for something, then even if there's Gungans on the back wall, we'll probably just use some Jedi there. So I think we can use Bo-Katan against Lord Vader. That'll probably be the right move. All right, Relic 7 Qui-Gon, Relic 7 Padawan Obi-Wan. So this shouldn't be too bad. And sometimes we can even smash that Yoda pretty quickly with the first hit. All right, let's get in here and see what we can do against Queen Amidala. All right. Let's do this. Wasn't enough to kill Yoda though. All right, come on, let's go. I want to do this and remove the foresights because sometimes it does not work as intended. Now we should just kill everybody. Yep. Okay. 75 banners, we'll take that. All right, and then this fight, you got to try to get this Leia team to work. And these guys we know. Phoenix we want to save for the back wall in case we need them. We'd have a Cara Dune here, right? So Cara Dune seems good. This is what we tried last time with just a couple other characters in here, but it did not go well. It did not go well at all. If the Inquisitors are on the back wall and I give up my Phoenix, it'll be pretty tough. I could put Kanan Jarrus in here, though. I mean, I could. I could swap out to Han. Maybe he could bring somebody back to life if he's not the one that gets killed. Okay, let's look for a really good Datacron here. I think we'll take the 15%. That's probably the best one, right? One of these 15% crowns. Here's a 15% crown with some potency, protection, crit damage, armor penetration, bunch of stuff. Seems good. Mom instead of Rolo. You like Mon Mothma? Where's Mon Mothma? Do we have her? Where did you see Mon Mothma? Am I looking and just don't see her? No, she's with the Radis team on defense, I'm pretty sure. She's the 5th in my Radis team to try to make that team more threatening. We'll put Captain Han in here. What do you think the best way to mod Rey for D is? Offense. Absolutely just offense, 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 offense. More offense. And then if there's any stats left, offense. So the theory is, I mean, you just want her ult to hit really, really hard, right? You want it so that if the player comes into that battle with any weak characters on their team at all, that the first time she does her ult, you got a good chance of just killing at least one enemy. Hit hard on assists, but mainly just absolute, Relic 9, all offense, as hard as you can possibly hit on the ult. Then once you get down to 4 characters, increases the likelihood that you'll kill a character on your next ult. And, that just cycles, right? Then the next time you do an ult, if there's 3 characters, 2, 1, and by the time you're down to 2 or 1 characters, dividing up a max offense, Rey's offense among 2 characters is lethal. So that's my opinion. I mean, use Rey to try to kill things and use the rest of the team to make it hard to kill Rey. That's my theory. And there's plenty of counters against Rey. Jedi Master Luke is pretty reliable. SLKR can work. Sith Eternal sometimes can beat everything but Rey. Things like that. So, to me, Rey is not a showstopper. She's not the one that you can put on defense. Like Lord Vader right now, if you have Lord Vader and all of the clones, it's very possible that he can be a showstopper. Like, if they don't beat him with the 1 or 2 things that beat him, they're just done. Their whole Grand Arena is over. Rey's not really that way. Maybe you have to 2-shot her or 3-shot her, but there's plenty of stuff that works against her. So to me, it's all about just loading up and getting that surprise factor where she just jumps out and hits somebody so hard they go, okay, well, better luck next matchup. That's my theory. I just did my first Great Mothers versus Galactic Legend Ahsoka, and it was pretty easy. Nice. Josh the Nosh. Jar Jar says Jabba is fun versus Rey. Jabba beats Rey. Jabba beats Rey like all the time, or just with the Datacron, or like I've had Jabba on defense ever since I've had Jabba. I honestly don't think he has ever been part of my offensive crew. I may have taken him for like 1 or 2 rounds of Grand Arena at some point, but he's never been part of my offensive package. So is he like really? I'm going to look. I'm going to look just for fun. Interestingly, Rey is the #1 defensive team in the game. So pretty much everybody who has Rey puts her on defense. Leia's all over the place. SLKR, Starkiller, JML, Malicos version of the team. I'm going a long way down and I'm not seeing Jabba. I do not see Jabba versus Rey. Or at least not in enough statistics to show up in the counter thing here. Interesting. So in a lot of matchups, you see like one team against another team, and there's like 3,000 of that battle. The Rey battles, there's a bunch of different teams, and there's like 300 to 500 of everything. There's only a couple teams that have a lot. That's interesting. So Rey is one of the most diverse things. Opponents have a 76% win rate. So she's the #1 defense. Baylan has a 73% win rate. Baylan on the back wall is just the stuff, right? You play something on the front wall to kind of make sure that opponents are using SLKR somewhere in the front wall, and then put Baylan on the back wall. And if people don't have SLKR against Baylan on the back wall, that's trouble for the opponent. Yeah. I worry about that. Like I think about right now, this guy does have Baylan, and I'm really don't want to use my SLKR on this front wall until I see the back wall. Right? I do not want to get to that back wall and have find out we need the SLKR. Okay, against this Starkiller team, if I look at the latest GAC 66, okay, Sidious is in here. Sidious is in here with a 96% win rate against this team. Okay, against some different teams, 93%. Pretty high win rate, though. Pretty high win rate overall. Okay. So that's good. We could also use Sidious against that Remnant team. But I feel like the Remnant team is probably easier to beat than the Starkiller team. So we're going to play this as if Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is easier to beat. We could use Sith or something in that. Josh the Nosh says, I've taken Jabba on defense now due to the Africron and the fact that it beats Baylan really easy. Oh, okay. So it beats Baylan? Jabba's always on offense now as too easy on defense? Jabba is the GL most used non-GL for Rey. Jar Jar says, I CLS the Starkiller still. Josh says, interesting thing about Jabba is because of the Africron, a lot of people are putting Chrysanthemum with Afra, not realizing that Gungans beat Jabba without Chrysanthemum really easily. Oh, interesting. Why would you ever put Chrysanthemum with Afra? I understand that the Africron has Chrysanthemum mechanics in the Cron, but come on, that guy belongs in the Jabba team any way you look at it. So you guys take Jabba on offense all the time now because the Africron makes it too easy? So there's two ways to look at this, right? One way is, okay, the Africron makes it too easy, so we're going to take him on offense. And the other way to look at it is to say, I'm going to put Jabba on defense. I know they're going to use the Africron, but then that's it. They've used the Africron right there. It's not going to be used against something else. And I mean, because the Africron will beat a lot of stuff. It makes the Afra team pretty nasty. All right, let's get Sidious in here. I mean, Africron could beat the Star Killer. I would be pretty confident in that matchup. All right, here we go. Oh. There's a song that my daughter used to listen to when she was very young on this science channel. And the song was called Seasons of the Year or something like that. And the melody was, here we go. Oh, Seasons of the Year. And it just repeated that like over and over again. And that stupid song gets stuck in your head. And then like 8 hours later, you're still walking around going, Seasons of the Year. Yeah. There's some of the kids' songs that my daughter listened to that were very catchy like that. I'm going to try Separatists here. We're going to try the Newt Gunray with Grievous Kron. And in previous battles, I've had this be like, sometimes if they have Kiadi Mundi, I stumble on him. There's no Jedi Knight Anakin in this team. So the question is, can we kill all of these other Jedi before Jocasta Nu gets off the hook? And that will be a question that we have to answer. All right, here we go. Just focus on this Quigley. I'm going to put... I'm going to extort you. Okay. There we go. Let's just do the area of effect. Because reasons. Maybe Barriss next so that we can actually kill things. Her passive is... I mean, unless we actually get the... We have healing immunity in this team, of course, but for any character that doesn't have that healing immunity on, it's pretty rough. With the Barriss. Oh, wow. Jocasta down. We have accosted Jocasta. Nice. Good job, Grievous. And 63 banners. Usually Grievous is like horrible banners. Okay, Jabba on the back wall. Nice little tactic from our opponent here. Also Great Mothers. So we'll gas the Great Mothers. We will Africron. And I don't know. We'll still have a Galactic Legend left for the back wall, I'm pretty sure. Because we'll be using JMK against JMK. We'll be able to Bo-Katan the Lord Vader. We have... what are we going to do against Dark Trooper Gideon? Sith. We'll do Sith against Dark Trooper Gideon. Let's just clear that front wall. I mean, the easiest way to know what tools we have left for the back wall is just to work on the front wall. And then let's say we know that we're going to have to save the Afra team for Jabba. Probably gas for one of those teams on the back wall. And we'll just start working our way through this. I feel like that's good. So let's try the Sith here. And let's see if that's going to be a win. The Sith are a victory condition here. It's no problem. But unfortunately, my low relic levels don't do me any favors here. So that can be a problem for us. Okay, we'll put 5 good Sith in here, and let's see if we can find a good Datacron that gives us like some bulk, and then Dark Side Tank Revive is pretty good, I feel like. It's got protection, crit damage, armor penetration, and whoever dies first comes back. Alright, so let's do that. And let's look at his Kron. Dark Side Tank Revive on his Kron. Okay. Kylo will do Jabba, giving you Afra. I would rather do Afra on Jabba and have Kylo. Because, for example, if we have Kylo left against that Luthen team, we're just going to annihilate that Luthen team, right? Kylo will walk in there and just casually stroll through it like no big deal. Okay. We've just got to kill him first, right? Dark Trooper Moff Gideon just has to go first, I think. If we kill Enoch first, then we suffer the issue that if Gideon gets all of his stacks... Oh my god, we're doing no damage to this guy. He's Relic 8. Looking like we gotta life drain him or nothing. Alright, let's take a look at trying to do some damage over here on Enoch, I guess. Enoch, who's there? Yeah, this is not looking good for us. All right, let's drain. Oof. Okay. We're going to get on Enoch here. And we'll try to keep Moff Gideon out of the picture, but let's see. Nah, we're not getting anything done against Enoch either, huh? Wow. Okay. I don't even know. Auto. So what is it that people are doing to beat this team? Because we've got to beat Dark Trooper Moff Gideon here. He's just going to revive everybody if we don't kill him. All right. 2 minutes and 46 seconds on auto. I think the key to this is just hitting life drains on Moff Gideon. Because with Enoch in here, we're not getting much done. And even if we kill Moff Gideon, if he has 4 stacks, that's just going to kill somebody else, right? All right, let's try a different tactic here. Let's try to kill Enoch so that we can enable some crits, maybe. This is not working out for me, though, guys. We need Moff Gideon to use his second skill and get rid of all those stacks. If we could keep him ability blocked, that also solves the problem, because then he can't revive anybody, right? Okay, just stay in there. Stay on him, guys. Maybe it's more important to kill the scout, actually. All right. He's not ability blocked currently. We need for him to be ability blocked. Okay, he's down to 2 stacks, so he can't kill other people now. 35 seconds. We ain't gonna get there, guys. We're not gonna get there. Oh, that was a nice life drain. That was a nice life drain. He's back to 4 stacks. So if we kill him, we're just gonna kill the scout. But we'll take it. All right, I'm just gonna sit here and let it time out because I don't know if I'll kill him. And if he gets a turn and he revives all 4 of those guys, I will be so angry. So, I'm just gonna save myself that pain. Oh. And I mean, you guys could see if I had relic levels on those characters, that battle would have been no issue, right? Would have been no issue. But with all my lame relic levels, it's not doing me any favors. Okay, what do we got here? Ayla. I probably don't need Padme somewhere. So let's just do a full mirror match. Yeah, where we're in control. Sounds good. We'll give him a good Datacron into this matchup. Rabel says, love what you done with your hair. Thanks, man. It matches Allura. Allura got the bottoms of her hair colored the same color, so we match. We got summer hair. Rabel's known me so long. Rabel's known me so long that he knew me when I had long hair. When I had long hair and the only color in my entire wardrobe was black. I was a heavy metal guy in college. So I had the long hair, the leather jacket. Everything was black, concert t-shirts. All right, let's get in there and do this. JQ says, I thought it was a chroma issue. Nice. All right, snips. Get on snips right away. Recycle. I'm going to go for a full alt here. Not a half alt. Against some teams, I want to go with a half alt, but here I want the full alt. And I want to be able to stay on... the characters that I want to be on until we get like Ahsoka down, all of it. Okay. So this should get us to the full alt, and then next turn we can do that and get rid of Cat. Okay, he gets his alt first though, huh? Interesting, interesting. Okay. Now we're going to have some hot cat on cat action. Pew. And then we're going to wreck little Ahsoka here. Even with Padme, I feel like we have to go for this Ahsoka first and get rid of all of those extra actions, the assists. And then we'll get rid of Padme. Okay. There we go. That should have gotten rid of the savior effect. And a few more hits on little Ahsoka here. And snips will be snipped. Bang. Get out of here. Okay. Now get out of here. Wow. We spent so much time that we've lost the high ground. We've lost the high ground, y'all. Okay, I'm going to put this in auto. And if they put damage immunity on this guy, then I'll be sad, but we'll just deal with it. All right. Oh, there we go. Now, for sure, he'll put damage immunity on Padme. So instead of dealing with that, we'll actually kill JMK next. And save Padme for last, oddly enough. Strange the way things work out sometimes. What were your favorite metal bands, Loquitur? I had a Sepultura shirt back in college. Yeah, Sepultura, whatever you want to call them. They're awesome. I still listen to them sometimes. Boy. So, for anybody who hasn't heard this before, I was actually part of a radio station back in college. I used to, me and a couple other guys used to run a heavy metal show. So, I listened to a lot of stuff. The crazy, like, off the deep end stuff, Guar, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, stuff like that, that was like, you know, the things that they were trying to make laws against. We used to listen to a lot of that kind of stuff. And then, you know, like the Metallica, Megadeth, Primus, Skinny Puppy, just all kinds of stuff like that. KMFDM, that's another band that I still listen to quite a bit now. And then like the Next Generation, Static X, System of a Down, just all kinds of stuff like that. Guar was fun. My wife absolutely despises Guar. Like the songs, the lyrics, the way the guys dress up, like every single thing about Guar she hates. Literally, I cannot listen to Guar if she can also listen to it. I can only listen to it when she's not around. Or she will like literally come make me turn it off. She really hates that band. If you read the lyrics to a Guar song, you'll probably hate them too. They're pretty awful. But it's awful in a train wreck kind of way, right? Like, you listen to Guar, you don't listen to it because you want, like, you don't want culture, right? You're not listening to Guar for the culture of it. You're listening to Guar because you want to be, like, angry and antisocial and make fun of it all. So, yeah, it's... Guar is pretty fantastic. They actually, if I remember their story correctly, they started out like they had to do some kind of community service because a bunch of them were criminals. And they started doing this thing where they would dress up and entertain people. And it turned into the band Guar. And they got their big break. Again, I haven't looked at any of the information in a very long time. But if I remember correctly, they got their big break in one of the Beverly Hills Cop movies. So in the Beverly Hills Cop movie, there's a chase scene where they're trying to run down these criminals. And they run through a bar. And in that bar is this completely outrageous, outlandish heavy metal band, which is Guar. And it was so shocking that people who watched the movie were like, what is that? and generated a whole lot of interest. And people started listening to Guar because of Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah. Interesting. At least I'm not quoting this like I know something, because it's been a long time since I looked at or read any of that like background stuff, but interesting. Yeah. Roots, Bloody Roots. That was an awesome album. There was back then they used to produce small albums called EPs. And they made this song called Orgasmatron, which is very poignant. You know, it's a social commentary. And for a while, you couldn't even get that EP. Like they ran it on a limited run, and then I think somebody actually prevented them from making another run. And for a long time, you couldn't even get it. But we had that in the studio, so we were able to play that. But Sepultura is very like, it's heavy metal, it's angry, it's anti-establishment kind of music, but it's also targeted. Like it's a type of protest. There's meaning behind most of their songs. Brazilian band, I believe. Night of Knee says Sepultura was the best. When folks ask me if I like Brazilian music, that would be my answer. Yo, Inquisitors, what's up, says Darth Rocky. Long time. System of a Down Toxicity album was great. Do you guys recall some guys that had a Three Little Pigs video in which they called Rambo to help against the Green Wolf? Green Jelly or something? Yes, I remember that song. Little pig, let me in. That was pretty good. That's pretty intense. Yep. Fun stuff. If y'all have never heard Skinny Puppy, that's also a very interesting band. It's kind of like, you know, one of those acquired taste things. But Skinny Puppy sings their songs in non sequiturs. A non sequitur is, I don't know, like there's a definition for non sequitur, but to me, like a non sequitur is a sequence of words together that sound like they should make sense, but it's not really a sentence. And Skinny Puppy had, a lot of interesting albums. And they sang mostly like just non sequitur stuff. Just kind of like industrial music, just really grindy stuff. And then with this backdrop of lyrics that, like, I'll see if I can remember some Skinny Puppy lyrics. Something like, dry wind chars human skulls, lies barren, wasted, greed taints the asphalt burial. Something like that. I don't remember exactly. But it sounds kind of like it should make sense, like kind of like you should understand what those lyrics mean. But really, no. So, but I used to love to listen to them. It's music that gets you fired up, you know. If you want to work out, you want to do homework, it's 3:00 in the morning, and you need something just to keep you going, keep you pumped up, keep you doing your homework. Man, Skinny Puppy will get you there. My opinion. All right. We got rid of Little Cal. We're trying to... Oh, I shouldn't have put the armor shred on. It won't work while she's bent over. Okay, come on. Come on, Ray. Quit wasting my time. Get on in here. Let's go. All right. Good. Now it's time for you to go into damage immunity. Tell you what. Get into damage immunity. Right? Meow. I'm just going to go. Big damage. Come on, Ray. There we go. Finally. All right. Poof. Make me a sandwich. Poof, you're a sandwich. Time for you to get into damage immunity 2. Oh, you came out of damage immunity. Ha ha ha. Goodbye. Reduce the amount of actions that they get to take. Put an armor shred over here onto Nestoruni. Ray's going to go into another alt, which is super annoying, but really not a lot we could do about it. We still got 2 minutes to go here. Let's do this. Come on, just basics. Just basics. Just basics. Get her alt done. Get out of your alt. Get out of your alt, Ray. Get out of your alt. Good gravy. How slow is this Ray? Is this Ray like 212 speed? Come on. Secret tech. You're asking how to mod Ray? Apparently the way to mod Ray is to make her so slow that she actually never gets out of the alt for the entire game. New tech. Just discovered today. Dodged? Come on. And then Nesta's doing the same thing. She's so slow. My God. This is, right now, this is a public service announcement for slow mods. Make your Ray team slow. So they never take turns and they just sit there in damage immunity and time out the other team. New tactics. Okay, we've got 2 Galactic Legends and gas for the back wall. I don't know how many good characters I need to win this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounty hunt this so that there's no questions. And we're going to just poof this Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. We got plenty of tools for the back wall. It's all going to come down to ships, ladies and gents. Do we, or do we not, have ships? Okay. Looks like we're just going to straight up kill him before we even need... Well, okay. I spoke too soon. He's back. And he's bigger and better than ever. Alright. Pew. He's particles. Done and dusted. There you go. President has only released 2 songs. They're debuting at the Download Festival, so I expect a full album around them. Am I the only one who thinks Ray is good? C9s. I always get unlucky whirlwind crits that wipe my whole team when I face her, so she seems so much better than everyone who says Ray is a weak GL. Here's some truth. Like, if you go back 2 years or more and you look at when like the Ray Lightspeed bundle came out, before that and during that time frame, I kept talking all the time about how good Ray was and how much I liked Ray, and people were just hating on Ray all the time. Ray's bad, you know, she's the weakest GL, and I'm like, I like her. She's great in Conquest. She does a lot of stuff. So I've loved Ray like the entire time. But I think she's great. And again, if you look at the stats, she's got one of the highest defensive win rates in the game. All right. So we can potentially Profundity here. Executor here, his Piet's only relic 8. Whoo, we got good chances against that. We can clean up the radish. We're looking okay for a full clear, y'all. Let's get the Aframu team out here. And we got to pick the right cron for this one. Josh the Nosh says it's not her, though. It's the extra that you add to it. I think the thing that makes Rey such an interesting defensive character has always been that if you make Rey offensive so that she can, exactly what you say, whirlwind people and get lucky kills, that's one way that you can, potentially win. The other thing that Rey teams have always been able to do is time out. So if you build a Rey team where Rey is the offensive unit and then the other four things are always just like annoying things to not die. Like I used to put in Queel, IG-11, L3, and Jedi Training Rey in my original version of the team. And I'm sorry, not L3, Vandor Chewbacca. So you get Vandor Chewbacca in there and potentially, until you kill him, you really can't deal with the IG-11 and Queel. If you do deal with Vandor Chewbacca, you still have to beat the Queel almost before you could beat the IG-11. So it's all doable, but it just wastes a lot of the enemy's time killing off these characters one at a time in the right order. And so a lot of times that team was a two-shot for the opponents. They would kill everything, but they would end up with Rey, stacking up a bunch of mastery and killing off some of their squad. And by the time they got it down to just Rey, she was, couldn't kill her. So she might not have even beat their team, may not have been able to take out the last few dudes, but every, 3 or 4 rounds she's going into her ult. You can't kill her while she's in her ult. Then she does damage, then she's just like sitting there and you time out against her. So that's the thing that I like about Rey, is that like she can kill the enemy team, but she can also just be a pure timeout. And that's what my version now with the Enfys Nest and the in it. Again, it's just meant to be annoying. Like if you don't deal with that Enfys Nest, it's bad, right? So like you got to deal with the Rey, you got to deal with the Ben, you have to deal with the Enfys Nest. If you leave the Enfys Nest till last, you could potentially get stuck. So Rey's just, I don't know. She's like a really, like I said, 2 parts. The timeout part plus the fact that you could potentially, in fact, kill somebody. And Ezra Exile, I think, is such an interesting addition to that team. Like, I hate putting Ezra Exile with with my Galactic Legend Ahsoka. I would rather let Galactic Legend Ahsoka be easier to kill in return for making Rey harder to kill. That's my strategy. I mean, I'm still doing that right now. And I've had people message me and say that I really should put my Exile with my Galactic Legend Ahsoka. But the things that work against Galactic Legend Ahsoka still seem to work with or without Exile. So, like, I guess maybe some of these, like, Great Mother's counters and things like that will work if you don't have an Ezra. So I may eventually be forced to put Ezra with Galactic Legend Ahsoka, kind of, let's say, where she belongs. But it's still, I mean, like I said, my defense is all about attrition. So as long as I'm running you out of good teams, eventually I win. We still have Sith Eternal and also SLKR and also Gas. So let's see who has the best win rate against the moms. Yeah, the mothers, if you look at the stats, Great Mothers are also one of those teams that like almost everybody puts on defense. I suppose that once people know that that counters Galactic Legend Ahsoka, they'll be on offense all the time. So Sith, Inquisitors, SLKR has a 98% win rate there. And I don't see any Sith Eternal battles at all in the good win rate percentages anyway. Oh wow, I'm way behind on chat. Holy cow. I somehow got Okay. Wow. I got way behind on chat somehow. So Hugsy says, low-key a super slow Rey can be really annoying to deal with. Yep. Slow baby Cal on Rey is important because he starts with an instant defeat immunity. Darth Raki says, I feel that, Hugsy. A random bad whirlwind and I lose the GAC that I was dominating. Darth Treya says, best workout music is Mudvayne. The angrier the better. I suppose that could work for furniture assembly too. Rey is super good. She has evergreen leadership skill. That's true. I mean, Rey works with just about everything. Good plug and play leader. Rey used to be a defensive joke to me, not anymore, says JQ. I just like how she gets to steal so many characters from other teams. Mike Armstrong says, are you making sure to keep stacks of Inspired at 0? If you aren't, then that's why she nukes you so consistently. Yeah, if you leave the stacks on her, she gains mastery really fast. Yep. If you keep that Inspire off, it's a much easier battle. Okay. Rey will be one of my last GLs, but I'll max out the Annoyance Rey team with all the stuff. I'm telling you, if you don't want to steal from other teams, you can still put that team on defense. You can still do Rey, Ben Solo, IG-11, Queel, and Vandor Chewbacca. Your Vandor Chewbacca has to be absolutely massive, right? You have to have like a Relic 9 Vandor Chewbacca with the skilled up. Basically to the point where they have to insta-kill him to deal with him. And then if they bring in something like a Jedi Knight Cal, they'll kill Vandor Chewbacca, and they still have to deal with Queel and IG-11, which is surprisingly hard to kill. And with Rey's leadership and, a good Datacron, that is just, it can just be nonsense. Okay, so SLKR here or Gas? Gas has been pretty reliable for us. I think, man. I'm tempted to just go with Gas here. Even though I have 2 GLs. Because I feel like SLKR is for sure going to kill the Luthen team. But then here, if I use SLKR, yeah, I think I'm actually going to use Gas here. We'll use Gas, and then we'll use SLKR against the Luthen. And if by some crazy circumstance anything doesn't work out, we've still got Sith Eternal Emperor. This has good stats. It's got health and protection, crit damage, armor penetration. It doesn't have light side mechanics, but that's fine. It's got everything a light side Gas could want. All right, Arc Trooper, you're doomed. Doomed, I tell you. I'm going to use the form up right away just to get us a bunch of turns. Let's do this on Echo this time. And poof. We don't get dazes on Morgan Elspeth though, huh? Okay. All right, just keep working away at her. When we get our first aerial advantage, then we can make the decision whether we're going to take out Morgan or the Great Mothers, depending on what we see. All clones are almost dead. Okay, sacrifice is in. Gas is back up. Clones would be sped up, except, well, they'll have speed down on them. Ooh, that's not fantastic. Gas is sitting down again already. Okay. Fast clones are helping here. Let's get rid of the moms. That way, if for any reason this doesn't work out in our favor, we will not have them to deal with on the second round. We would love to kill Night Sister Spirit next if we can. Poof. All right. Solid. 60 banners. We'll take it. Not the best banners, but again, we don't care about banners this matchup. We just got a full clear. Taking this guy here. Let's see. Dark side mechanics, crit chance, armor penetration, buffs for dark side characters. It all seems good. Hey, Saw. How you doing, buddy? Get stunned, nerd. All right. I think if we reset and do another one of those big juicy sweeps. Hey, Luthen. What's up, man? It's good to see you survived the purge, but now we got you. SLKR is overkill for Great Mothers. The Great Mothers can be nasty, though. I mean, they could be tricky to deal with. All right. Ships first or Law of Fives first? What do you guys want to do? Let's do the Law of Fives. Let's do the Law of Fives. Okay. So, that's not what I want. That's not what I want either. Okay. It's a whole lot of what I don't want. Huh. Where did it go? Oh, I think I understand what happened. What is this nonsense? Okay, here we go. We got it. The inside story. So here's the Law of Fives. Now, this comes from a little book called the Principia Discordia, Principles of Discord. The book is kind of a satire. It's sort of a hack on organized religion. I believe the book was written by like some college kids or something. I don't know exactly. But it's not like a novel. It's not like, you know, you read it front to back. It's just page after page of kind of humorous, satirical nonsense. But I read it when I was in college, and this is one of the pages out of the book. It says the Law of Fives. The Law of Fives is one of the oldest Arisian mysteries. It was first revealed to the good Lord Omar and is one of the great contributions to come from the hidden temple of the Happy Jesus. POEE subscribes to the Law of Fives of Omar sect and also recognizes the Holy 23 because 2 plus 3 equals 5. It's incorporated into the Episcopos, etc., etc., etc. The Law of Fives states simply that all things happen in fives or are divisible by or are multiples of 5 or are somehow directly or indirectly appropriate to 5. The Law of Fives is never wrong. In the Arisian archives, there's an old memo from Omar to Mal II. I find the Law of Fives to be more and more manifest the harder I look. So, when I very first read this, I just kind of read the page and, flipped to the next page. And then there was this moment where I kind of stopped and I went back and I reread it. And I must have sat there like staring at this page for a good, half hour. Because like layers of an onion, the more I looked at it, the more I started coming up with like a bunch of different stuff. And probably stuff that the authors never intended. But there's, again, even though this book is just kind of like nonsense, right? You can see the truth of how things happen and about how dogma gets created. And the thing that hit hardest for me was the bottom line, right? I find this law to be more and more manifest the harder I look. And as a scientist, you're always presented with this idea of scientific theory where you come up with a hypothesis, you design an experiment, you run the experiment, you analyze the data, you draw some conclusions, and then you test and see if your hypothesis was correct. But you see so many times, like salt is an example. Everybody in the world has heard that sodium is bad for you. Too much sodium gives you a heart attack, high blood pressure, don't eat sodium, don't put salt on your food, on and on with the evils of salt. And for years, for like 25 years now, there's been study after study after study that proves and shows and goes back to those original studies and says, look, there's so many biases built into these studies. It's crazy. But once you make the correlation and you say people who had a higher instance of heart attacks were more, had more salt in their diet and they had high sodium levels, and you draw that causality and you make the rule and you say sodium increases the risk of all of this stuff, right? That becomes such a strong rule that the government actually starts mandating education around it. Doctors start learning about it in medical school. And now that's the, let's say, the health science dogma that sodium is bad. And I'm not going to tell you that sodium isn't bad. You guys can go out and do your own research and look on the internet. But it's exactly this. Once you've made the statement that high sodium causes high blood pressure and heart attacks, it becomes more and more true the harder you look. And then you see studies that have like dotted I's and crossed T's. Well, not only is it sodium, but it has to do with the amount of sodium that's added to food. Not only is it the amount of sodium that's added to food, but it has to do with, and they just add these little aspects to it. And now the rule is, okay, these kinds of food with this level of sodium is bad for you, right? It just on and on and on with piling onto this. And there's modern science that says in moderation, everything in moderation, you can eat salty foods. You can eat all kinds of salt. The amount of sodium in your bloodstream is not directly correlated to anything, right? It's these other factors of food that includes sodium that causes the problems, right? When you get down to the real science. But if you go to school or you go to the doctor and you talk about high blood pressure, the doctor's going to tell you to eat less salt. So even though these things are proven that that's not necessarily the correlation, they still continue to be the dogma. And this is exactly how it happens. You make a law, and then the more I kept looking at it, the more I'm like, yeah. And once you've got the law and you believe in it, and you've strongly stated it, and it's always right, then all you have to do is just add little nuances to it to make sure that it's never wrong. So it's kind of silly, right? Everything happens in 5, is divisible by 5, a multiple of 5, or somehow directly appropriate to 5, right? And maybe there was a circumstance there that wasn't covered. So then they put in the word indirectly. Okay, everything is a multiple, divisible, is either directly appropriate to 5 or somehow directly inappropriate. And that's it. And now you can always prove that rule. So you put the rule first, and then you look for it to be true, and it will always be true. And I'm telling you, if you apply this in your life, if you actually, in fact, take a moment to consider this, let's say, for instance, 2 employees, I was a manager, 2 employees get in a fight. There's 5 witnesses, they all see the same thing. They talk to, you talk to the witnesses, you say, what did you see? This guy was screaming at that guy, he was pointing his fingers and making threats. I think most managers just draw a conclusion, right? This guy was yelling, pointing his fingers, making threats. A bunch of eyewitnesses say that that's true. And that instantly becomes the truth that you're working from. But there's 2 sides to the story. The truth is somewhere in the middle. So they have the version of what they saw. When you talk to the person who was yelling and threatening, maybe their side of the story is, look, this guy's been provoking me for weeks. Like, I'm sitting in the break room and he's poking fun at me. And I just let it go. And he's doing it and I'm just letting it go. And he thinks it's funny and he's getting a rise out of it. And he keeps poking at me and I let it go. And I've done that for months. But today, he made a yo mama joke and it was enough. I just had enough. I wasn't yelling at him. I wasn't threatening him because of who he is or what I believe or any of that stuff. I was just telling him to stop. Stop with the jokes. Stop making fun of me. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. You got to quit. I was just making it clear to him that I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. Well, who do you believe, right? The truth is somewhere in the middle. And if you go into those kinds of things with this law of 5s, well, 6 people said it happened one way. That must be the truth. You sometimes miss the opportunity to truly help people. So what you have to do, if you want to avoid being wrong in the law of 5s, right, then you really have to go back and see, is this other person doing that to other people? Is he a bully? Is he just passive aggressive? Is he just constantly saying stuff to people that's not really wrong or out of line or actionable, but he's just poking. He's just poking at everybody, just stirring the pot, making up rumors, gossiping about people. Well, at the end of the day, that's what you got to stop, because maybe a good person was made to get frustrated and angry and yell and do something inappropriate because of this other person's behavior. And then you have to address both sides of it, right? So I don't know. I think this silly little thing, for as sort of innocuous as it is, just kind of in the middle of this book, really influences me. I think about it a lot. There's another story that's similar to that I love. It's this guy goes to a small town, and he's like an army general, and he's agreed to be in their 4th of July parade or something. So he goes to this small town, and as he's driving around, he sees fence posts and trees and targets drawn all over the place, and every single one is a bullseye. There's a target, and there's a shot, and it's dead center in the target. And he's curious, he's a military guy. So he asks around, and after the parade, somebody tells him, yeah, that's, this kid around town, he shoots, he's always shooting those targets, ask him if you want to know more. So he asked this kid, and he says, man, how did you get to be such a good shot? He says, well, it's easy, mister. I just shoot a fence post or a tree and then I draw a target around it. And it's the same kind of thing. Like you make the law first and then you prove it to be right. You take the shot first and then you prove it to be accurate. I don't know. There's wisdom in that, and the wisdom is avoid that behavior. You know, if you want to be a scientist, if you want to be a good and fair person, you really have to find ways to avoid that behavior. And that behavior is like human nature, right? It's not. I'm not telling you avoid something that's bad. I'm just telling you that we all have a tendency to do it. And if you can't actually, in fact, avoid that tendency, you're probably ahead of most people. I think bringing in the tank here is good. Death Mark is used, so they can't use it on my Bosk, and it'll hold him up at least for a little while. We got this Razor Crest marked. He's probably going to try to heal that, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this Razor Crest goes away. And once this thing goes away, he can't mark around our Hound's Tooth, and I think that's pretty much a win at that point. I suppose he could get to another death mark, so let's make sure that we deal with that. Punishing one over here. Okay. Aha! You didn't get it. Let's get rid of buffs and refresh that mark. Get taunt back. I feel like this is looking really good, guys. Let's just nuke the IG. Put it on auto. I think we'll have the alt on our capital ship next time we go. We've got a death mark coming up. All the tools in the toolbox ready to go. Sourface says, did you dye your hair, DL? Looks more red than normal. Yeah, my hair is normally a very boring brown. This is currently a very bright orangey red. Matching my kid. Are you planning on getting any of this set's fixed Datacrons? I'm working on the Dark Side Vision Ray 1. I'm thinking that the Vision Ray 1 and also the Hermit Yoda 1 for the JML team are game changers. I keep looking at the Krennic 1. I honestly think that Krennic 1 is busted. I can't prove it. So right now, I'm kind of staring at the Krennic 1, wondering if like I should do the Hermit Yoda 1 to level 12 and the Dark Side Vision Ray 1 all the way, and then maybe that Krennic 1 is worth building. Build less Datacrons the next round, but when I look at the mechanics of that Krennic Cron, it feels like you could put a Krennic-led trooper team on defense that could be super nasty. But I can't guarantee that, right? So the mechanics are looking pretty good. Trey and Jar Jar are talking a little bit. KY says, it's often said that scientists are professional doubters. I think professional skeptic might be a more appropriate way to approach it, right? Doubt seems to have a very negative connotation, like I doubt that to be true, whereas skepticism is simply, okay, could be true. You know, let's find out. I feel like I am very contrarian. right? Like, the more somebody tells me to do something, the more likely I am to try to find my own way to do it. And I'm not saying that that's a good trait. Honestly, I think that it's probably something that's held me back in, certain times where I probably should have taken feedback more easily, or, could have benefited from being a little less stubborn. But, so I'm very contrarian by nature, but at the same time, I don't think I'm negative about being contrarian. I don't, most of the time at least, I'm not contrarian because everything sucks. I'm contrarian because, okay, well, if that's what everybody's doing, let's find out if there's other possibilities, right? Like, maybe that's not the only thing that works. At least I try to be positive about some things. Doesn't always work. We're going to take a basic attack. Then we're going to take the refresh so that we can keep the tenacity. Okay. What do I even want? I think I'll just stay on the tank because we're going to have the alt next time our capital ship goes. Maybe just having this tank ready to... Oh, come on. How much healing is in this team? It's nonsense. I'm like, let's get the tank ready to die. And then 2 seconds later, it's just like complete protection. All right. We got this, though. Let's get in here. Let's just heal up. Okay. This ship will die instantly, right? But at least it'll let us get another ship. We'll cleanse those debuffs real quick. All right. So, Profundity win. Let's go. Wasn't too bad. We did lose our tank, lost some banners there, but let's see. We can't do the Malevolence here, right? Yeah, and the Malevolence gets absolutely roasted by the Radis fleet. So we're not going to do that. We need the version of the First Order with the better reinforcements. Let's do that. Okay. Cassian's U-Wing Plo are my favorite reinforcements for this First Order fleet because hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate why. Let's put a missile on Ray's nose. And then we just do stuff. Tons of buffs. We're just going to cleanse those. We won't be able to get rid of the taunt, but it's alright. Do some damage. Give some turn meter. Get the tank out of here. Okay. Now, we bring this ship in, and we get to cleanse all the buffs off of Ray. She gets some regenerated. That's inconvenient, but anyway. No comeuppance. We did not get comeuppance as the first reinforcement, which is interesting. Let's give another turn over here. No stun on Ray. Hey, stun on Ray. Okay. More buffs. Big hit. Pew. That was a pretty big hit, right? Our tank hasn't gone in a month. It got dazed. And of course, the First Order is a lot about getting turn meter. Oh, there's the comeuppance finally. And we haven't been able to deal with Ray. So this is pretty inconvenient. Let's get turn meter here. We can't get comeuppance because it's in stealth. Ray has... Okay, we just have to take the kill over here. And then hide the silencer so that we can't get directly attacked by Ray. Put the taunt back on our tank. I think, nope, dazed. Sorry, guys. Man. Something in my throat. My daughter had an issue, is a mid-teen, and her hair fell out. I let her shave my head so she didn't have to go it alone. Best thing I ever did. Her hair grew back, but I'll never go back. So you're going to be a lifelong believer in the hairless look, huh? That's cool. I mean, hey, if you found a little bit of new style, something that you feel like fits you. I don't know if colored hair fits me or not. You know, this could be a thing where I'm like, yeah, I like having off-color hair. Or it could be a thing like, it was fun to do, but, you know, it's not really me. So, the jury's still out on that yet. Although I will say, in my first, few days of experience, I can say that, it seems to be, what's the right way to put this? As a generalization, the women who comment on it tend to like it, and the men who comment on it don't like it. So, very colorful hair makes you more popular with ladies. And I think it's probably just because when they know that you colored your hair to match your daughter, that feels like, you know, a sweet thing to do. And so that's nice, right? But yeah, a lot of guys are more judgmental about it so far. Initial read is that women are much more tolerant of the change. Although I think I scared my wife when I first came in the house. She's like, okay. You know, when people talk really slow like that, they're trying to process what to say. Trying real hard not to say something. Oh, man. Fun stuff. I had a 70-year-old lady tell me I was beautiful. I don't know what that means. It must mean that I'm older than I think, or something. Getting hit on by the elderly. All right. Let's try to get caught up here. Correlation does not equate to causation, and people make that mistake all the time. KY says, except when DL loses his GAC and then I do, that correlation is true and it's DL's fault. Nice. I love that. That's definitely a Law of 5 style correlation. If DL loses and I lose my GAC, definitely his fault. Mike Armstrong says, what makes me decide Dark Side Rays? I've faced one already in Squad Arena, and it beats my Lord Vader with all of the Dark Side clones. And to me, that's going to protect me wherever I go, since I don't have C yet. Jar Jar Binks says, Darth Treya, did you get orange hair as well? She did not. Here's the deal. So, we tried to peer pressure her into joining the Orangey Hair Club. But she said something about, I work at a law firm and people won't take me seriously if my hair is bright orange, and, things like that about being in a conservative line of work. I don't know. The truth is that she's right. She's right. If she colored her hair bright orange, the people in her workplace would likely judge her badly for it. So no, she won't be getting orangey hair with us. JQ says that's a weird Radis. Yeah, clone sergeant, first reinforcement. Not exactly normal. JQ says I nearly lost a Chimera Radis. She destroyed Scythe, Interceptor, Defender, Chimera. It was down to the bomber and the shuttle versus the comeuppance and the X-Wing. JQ says, so we're doing this now. Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of the... I mean, she knew we were going to do it. She knew that we were going to get colored hair to match. She just wasn't ready for how bright it looked. I scared myself. So the very first day that I had it done, I was working in here and it started getting late and I was like, man, I got to go to bed. Oh, there's still stuff I got to do. So I kept like just, how the to-do list is. You get, oh man, I got to do this before I go to bed tonight. Oh man, I got to. So I was up pretty late and I was getting ready to go to bed and I went into the bathroom to take my asthma medicine at night before I go to bed, right? So I go in the bathroom, kind of half not paying attention, thinking about other stuff. And I just, like, when I looked up in the mirror and my hair was, like, really bright, it was... there was that moment of, I'm not used to this yet. It's pretty funny. I imagine if somebody was watching me with a camera, they would have been quite entertained by it. I think I'm going to play a game or two of Alpha League, and then I got to go start working on house cleaning stuff. I got a little project we're going to be working on this weekend to try to do some organizing. So, but I think I can get away with a couple quick Alpha League games. And if I don't get away with it, then I'll use the orange hair as my excuse. I would have stopped playing, but my hair is orange. Is that a Law 5's thing? The orange hair did it. Actually, this arena is looking pretty interesting for Frost. I like it. I feel like other people are going to play maybe evasion or crit type champions. But I think we could play this Spell Frost. If we get both Spell and Frost, this champion becomes really hard to deal with. She just does her ult, puts Frost all over the enemy right at the start of the combat. It's really good. This character Bedivere actually has a trait that when she does her ult, she's immune to crowd control effects. So the hex from spells and the slowdown from Frost does not affect her at all when she does her ult. So if this character, if this Bedivere character then builds spell attack, then we're playing for second place. Unless we can just do enough damage. If we can just straight up do enough damage, we can still win, though it becomes harder. All right, what to do here? Anti-freezing, Frostfire Storm. I think we'll do anti-freezing. Frostfire Storm is damage, but anti-freezing is really good. There is inner fire though, so maybe we just you know, take a couple inner fire skills to try to knock off the enemy freezing. We're not in a freezy arena. Okay, we'll take the damage. We'll look for some inner fire when it's appropriate. If we do spell as one of our main skills, we can get spell inner fire, and then every time we do an alt, we'll, you know, get a little inner fire stacks. I don't mind hammering here. It takes a while to pay off. Mina is a losing streak champion. She's one of those characters that turns around in the middle. So we will play her for like expecting 5 or 6 losses in a row before we even get a win. We'll go to full interest, make most efficient use of our money. And like I always say, if you go on an early lose streak, it can be very efficient. Good way to play the game. But then if you do an early lose streak, when you turn it around, you really have to turn it around and then not lose for a while. You know, you got to be able to put together a win streak. So we're going to plan to do a turnaround sometime between the second monster and the second carousel. That's probably where Mina will start to take off. So we just got to take damage until then, I guess. Here's that Frostfire Storm. Here's a spell book. We can keep hammering on spell plus frost. That's pretty good. Cremation. Stop the enemy from gaining inner fire. That's all good, but we really want to take advantage of hammering here. So we're looking for something that's spell or frost. Try to focus on those things. Keep hammering says when you buy a skill, if it shares a trait with the last skill that you bought, you get refunded 30 credits. So basically, when you get hammering, it makes that skill card cost 70 instead of 100. It takes a while to pay off, but it's one of those things that it's less in the beginning, but by the end of the game, you will have gotten more out of it than a lot of the other picks. It fits the style of champion we're playing, right? I think I want spell more than frost here. Oh, we pick up a frost as part of the spell. That's good. I think spell is more important than frost to this build. What I would love to see is if we get an early bird here on the second one. Jar Jar says it looks good on stream with the lights. It goes yellow and red like it's on fire. That's cool. That's awesome. All right, we'll take this. We get a rare. I love mana drain, but man, getting this is pretty good. Oh wow, we're getting a lot of hammering. Oh, I think I misclicked right there. Turn it back around to spell. I don't think I even used my free reroll that time, or maybe I did. But okay, what do we got up here? Preemptive frost is pretty good. Just put a lump of frost on people right at the start of the battle. We'll take that. Boom Zarame. This is a name I recognize. I think he's one of the players that's probably in the top 20. Good player. I don't recognize most of the other names. Okay. We'll take this frost. And a spell book here that we got to take. Let's take it. We'll take this just because it's hammering and it's a free skill. Once again, I don't get to use my free reroll. It's kind of annoying. Let's push to level 5 next turn. Get our artifact, find out what artifact. And then we'll spend our money. And then sometime between the second monster here, we'll get the artifact. And then by the time we get to the second carousel, we have to have turned this around. What position are you in as you start tonight? I don't know, like 30, 25, 30. It resets at the beginning of every month now, and I didn't get a chance to play much this week. And unfortunately, even with really high placement, it's really more about how many games you play to get your rating up. So it's not like a % win rate kind of thing. It's just ELO points that you earn by winning or by playing. So we can do hammering here. Yeah, we'll just do hammering. More hammering. Spellbook here, we can convert over to that. 25 mana on an alt use is pretty good. Oh, we did. We got the reroll in time. Okay, let's yeah, see this character is beating me no problem. Oh, she got the healing trait. Oh wow, that's nasty. Okay, probably should take noob mark at some point too if we get offered that again. Rare skills provide extra XP. Free rerolls is pretty good with hammering, and now we could just sort of, like, if it's not hammering, we're not going to take it. So we've got frost, but we're going to skip it. We're only going to look for hammering. Free, I don't want that. I want spells. I want spells. Frostfire we got to take. Frost. We could duplicate evasion here. I guess I don't mind it that much. Do this. And here we can get back to spells. Spells. And then frost. Okay. Alright, that's it. Now we've got to go for wins. So let's push for level 10. Let's try to get, let's see, preemptive frost. I want preemptive frost. I think that's good. So anti-freezing, frozen touch will take. We really want spells. So let's just dig in. Frost. Take that because it's hammering. And we got a spell here. Okay. Let's take our next trait. Noob mark. Reduces the enemy evasion chance by 50%. It pretty much, I won't say guarantees, but if we get to the point where we're doing an alt right at the start and also reducing 50% of their evasion, we should be in good shape that they can't evade our attacks. Okay, spellbook. Looking for spellbooks. Here's a spellbook. Hex, I think, is too good to pass up. We'll definitely hammer on that. Okay. Let's get our free rerolls. Look for spellbooks. We're passing up good frost stuff, but we really just want... Oh, come on. Gear rewind, getting an extra mech, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We're at 600. We've got one game won. I don't know if we're in a position to turn this or not. Got some good frost on our enemy, but we're not doing damage very fast. Okay. Once we got to our ult, we were okay, so... Yeah, we just got to get spell. We got to get spell closed out. So as much as I hate to get rid of this gear rewind, we've got to go for spell. Where's my spell books? Oh, come on. There's a spell book finally. We're at 710. I'm going to go for another round here. Wow. There are no spell books to be had. That's rough. That is rough. That was a lot of free rerolls we used up. But imagine how bad off we'd be if we didn't get these 5 free rerolls every turn, right? We've taken 16 free rerolls off this thing. Imagine how bad that would be if we didn't have it. Come on, spell books. Passing up frost all over the place. Give me spell books, you jerk. Wow. Okay, here we go. Spell. Now take attack suppression. Take mana spring. We're at 1,000 gold again. Let's click this attack suppression. Might help us against this James. I don't think we're going to win this battle, though. Oh, that was a good hit. That was a good hit. Okay. Oh, my God. We're at 6 life now. Lose 15 player health and immediately gain 8 levels. That would take us to 20. We'd be on 1 life. I don't think being on 1 life is that much different than being at 6. Let's go. Let's get 2 traits here. Fast healing. Ski resort. Let's go. Come on, give me spell books. Spell book. Mana drain. Come on. Come on. Spell. I'll take that. Give me some spells. Oh, man. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. $9.40. 5 more free rerolls. I don't think I have ever had a problem this bad where I absolutely cannot get spells. We're at 500. Let's go down. There's a spell book at least. If we lose, we're out. All right, we got him. We got him. Oof, I cannot get this build turned around, y'all. Evasion, I guess. I mean, I don't want any of what's offered here. Now we have to re-roll an evasion slot. Get out of here. I will take that gear rewind this time, though. Come on, spells. Oh, here we go. Hex or Magic Surge? Magic Surge means we get 2 alts in a row. Avalanche. I'm going to take Crystal Blade here. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad, but it's another damage source, so at least we got a chance of like doing enough damage to kill this guy. It takes us too long to get to our alt here, though. Look, that first alt is just taking way too long. We got to get that spell alt. So there we go. All right. All right, we got it. So next round, we'll get to pick spell, and then we'll get access to the arcane alt. We're fighting against Bedivere, though, so probably we lose. If we somehow beat this Bedivere, then I think we've got first place in the whole arena. Oh, not looking good. Not looking good, y'all. Oh, we pulled it out in the middle. We pulled it out in the middle. We got a monster fight coming up next, so that'll give us more money, and that should be able to get us, like I said, a spell skill, access to the alt, and then I think we win from here. I don't mind the dodge. What's this? I don't want this. I can afford it though. Boiling Tar, Arcane Storm, Anti-freezing. Extra crit. Bang. Yeah. That's what it looks like when this build comes together. All right. Whew. That was a lot of free rerolls and struggle, but it looks like we got there. All right, let's preemptive poison. I don't think it's helping us. Let's do this and that. And then our auto attacks will do some extra damage. Bang. Yeah. That looked a little different than the last fight against James. I think we're mostly just looking for frost stuff now. We could check hammering. Hammering has given 11, 10 total. So this first slot's worth like 500 or 600 if you like average what it's worth when you get it. So we've doubled the value of that first slot. It's no copy ninja, but it's not bad either. That gives us more inner fire. We'll take the preemptive poison here. Reroll this garbage. Okay. Bang. 2 alts back to back. 760 frost stacks to deal with. It's pretty good. Definitely taking this spell book. Let's go. Get another level of Hex. That's fantastic. Magic Mark. Like that. Oh, here's Magic Mark the Third. Although we could get another 150 inner fire stacks from an alt. That's actually better for us. So take that. What else is burst damage that we could use? It's hammering. We'll take that. I would love to get some more frost stuff. Not on the menu though. Spell versus spell. I don't know if you guys saw that, but we were just duking it out with nukes. Duke Nukem. All right, all right. That was a first place, but I'm telling you, that was almost a 5th place. Like if we hadn't won that battle against the KXT character, like right after that, what was it, like 3rd? It was right before the 3rd monster. If we hadn't won that one, we would have been like 5th place. But winning that let us get to the alt. Jar Jar said that was quick. DL, have you ever thought about doing TW content for SWGOH? I feel like barely any creators do TW content, and given there's no insights for TW, I think more TW content would be a huge win for players. Obviously not giving away your defenses and strategy and such, but rather just learning counters. So the truth is, I'm not a huge fan of TW. So I don't study the TW tech and the counters. I kind of, put the defenses that I'm told, and when we're doing attacks, the guild often just calls out the strategies, the teams that they want you to be using on certain, use your JMKs here because we want to save SLKR for the next wall. In theory, we're going to need that. So the strategists in my guild call it out. So I don't think that's a good area of expertise for me. If I wanted to do content like that, I could. What I would do, I would have to reach out to other people who are more skilled with that stuff and just kind of say, you know, come on the channel, I'll interview you, and you know, you can help teach people how to play. I don't mind Samuel here. On the first board, I was offered Brunhilde, the Shield champion, and she, I think, would probably be the best choice into this lineup. But I like trying different things. So what I'm going to try with Samuel is kind of a barrel build. We're going to be doing inner fire because he's an inner fire champ, but then we also have to figure out how we're going to beat the enemy's evasion. So to beat evasion, we're going to want to do vulnerable ourselves. So I think this is going to be some wacky thing where I do like vulnerable as the main skill and then like shield plus inner fire as the secondary skills. But I think this is actually a vulnerable first arena. Because then if the enemy's dodging everything, you know, vulnerable still will chew through their life, even if I can't hit them with my basic attacks. The other interesting thing about vulnerable, Samuel, when he, his passive, right? So his passive says, when normal attack lands, deal extra magic damage equal to 50% of your inner fire stacks. That actually creates two separate instances of damage. So every one of his auto attacks counts as two sources of damage, which for vulnerable builds, you really want that. For vulnerable builds, you really want to be doing like all of the different damage sources that you can. A couple damage reflection here right off the bat seems pretty good. Steady boost is pretty good. Heaven Breaker will take. So we'll take a little bit of weaponry, shield, just kind of barrel build it at first here. Looking for vulnerable stuff. This shield skill, I think I'll take. Flying shield, if we're ever going to do shield, we got to take that. So I won't use my free reroll. I'll set on 960 gold. We won't get to pick early in our draft, but that's fine. This champ should be able to go on an early win streak and maintain it. I don't think we have to intentionally do a losing streak here. This champ is a little hard for me to beat at first. With Frost canceling out my inner fire, I completely lose my passive, right? So as long as we're not, we have to have inner fire stacks on us to trigger the passive. So when she gets more Frost than we have inner fire, it goes badly. We'll definitely take anti-freezing like every time we see it. Devouring Blade is good here. If we're going to take a little bit of weaponry, we're at 1070. Losing streak of 2. Our reroll cost is really high because we took Follow the Tide, but that's fine. So I got to make wise use of my money and my rerolls. Got a couple vulnerable skills, but it doesn't, nothing that actually applies vulnerable yet. So we're kind of lame still. We've got 1,000 in the bank. I mean, we're gathering interest. 27, we should pick mid-range somewhere second. I hope I pick in the second part of the draft instead of the third. That would be good. Oh, I pick first. Let's grab some vulnerable here. I would have grabbed inner fire over vulnerable, but you know, there's no inner fire showing. This arena gives you 8 extra XP, so you see vulnerable shot way up. So after we buy this skill, we'll be offered a rare vulnerable. And we're going to do curse formation here. Okay. Anti-freezing, I think we just have to take anti-freezing as much as I want some of those other skills. We did win. I do have a free reroll. Let's take this shield. It's more anti-freezing. It's making it real hard to use my free reroll here. I want attack suppression too. It's too good to pass up. Okay, Herald of Rage. Inner fire stacks from ultimate 8 times level. Let's do that. Let's get more inner fire. There's a bunch of champions that are building some frost, so more inner fire will help us. And as we level up, of course, that right now it'll give us an extra 40. If we get to level 20, it'll be giving us like, 80 extra off the ult. That's not that good, is it? Now that I say it out loud, it's not that good. This is more vulnerable stuff. We just want more vulnerable. We got to make use of our free rerolls because the 80 reroll cost is excessive. It'll force us to kind of have more of a, barrel build because we just got to kind of take what's offered to us. We won't be able to reroll like we did for the last game with Mina where we rerolled 90 times. Down to 600 gold, but then, fighting a monster right after this. We'll get cash and then we'll get the monster money. We're on a 2-win streak, so now it's kind of we want to kind of maintain that win streak to get more money. So let's keep spending. We'll take the Molten Shield here. It's a shield skill. Counter. Weaponry plus shield. Yeah, I think that's good. Take that. Thunder Force. I'm not really a fan of Thunder Force. Getting this will get me a shield skill. We could take Iron Skin. It's a pretty busted skill. Cremation. Sure, we'll take Cremation. Take the Attack Tide. Reroll this. Okay, we got another vulnerable showing, so we got to keep working on our vulnerable. We're at 600 gold, kind of mid-range. We're collecting some interest, but we definitely want to keep up our win streak, so make sure I think for me the big thing is we got to make sure that we buy some good skills and use our free reroll, because that increased reroll cost is going to prevent us from doing that later if we need to. Okay, 100 for my win streak. That's nice. Let's keep that going. Evasion, weaponry, or 800 gold when we get level 10. I think 800 gold at level 10 is nice. We're pretty close to that. Evasion and inner fire will get us there. More weaponry would get us there. Crit suppression, I don't think I want any of this. Not much different there. Overload's not horrible. That'll give us a level from mech. Now we need inner fire or evasion. That gives us inner fire. Okay. Permanently gain bubble serenade. I kind of like that. Just put frost on the enemy. Yeah, I like that. We'll just frost up the enemies. Make it harder for them to get inner fire. My ability to get inner fire skills has been pretty bad. We're an inner fire champ with currently 4 inner fire. So I really would like to find some more of the... Oh, here we go. Flame Surge is good. That's kind of the basic unit of inner fire. Iron Skin is way too good to pass up. Attack suppression. Lucky Charm, shields. We're not getting inner fire, but it keeps giving... Oh, Iron Skin minus 12. Triggered our owl, so we got plenty of money. Wind missile we'll take. Down to 650. Shield interferes pretty good, so we'll take that. As another shield skill, Iron Skin is -12 for every unique shield skill. We've only got 8 unique shield skills, so each additional one that we can get like at least one level in is going to be another -12 damage from every source. So we're pretty hard to kill right now with 3 levels of Iron Skin and 8. It's every single damage source that they do to us is minus 96 damage. So, you know, that got to hit us for almost 100 damage before it even hurts. Pretty crazy. If we can grab this inner fire, that'll be a big boost. And we'll get an extra +8 from it, of course, because of the arena that we're in. So that takes us up to 18 inner fire real quick. Nice. I would love to get an early bird. I wonder if that's possible. Come on, give me an early bird off of this last... do we take Inner Fire or Soul Offering? I think we take Boiling Tar. Just Curse Surge we'll take. Preemptive Shield is more shield. It's more of everything that we want. Here's some more Inner Fire. Shield and Inner Fire. Curse. Okay, we're all in. We're 170 gold in the bank. Trying to maintain our win streak. We've got a Frost champion here, so... Oof. We can't get our inner fire stacks going. She's frosting faster than we can inner fire, unfortunately. We're almost level 15 though, so close level 15. We'll get another trait. I would love to get another, let's see, what do we want for a trait? I don't know. I want an early bird artifact though. That would be so good. So good. All right, let's do Corrosive Curse here. We'll do that. Flying Shield, Preemptive Shield. Preemptive Shield is just to stop people from putting preemptive vulnerables onto us. Spiritual Focus, all Frost stacks +12. Steal Enemy Evasion. We'll just steal the enemy evasion. That's fine. All right, we're starting to look better now. He didn't have enough frost, so we got inner fire stacks, and we just straight nuked him in the head. 8-win streak is pretty good. I think we're in a position where we can make good use of our rerolls, look for the right skills, and let's try to save money into the next artifact. If we can get the next artifact to be early bird, we'd be able to grab easily 4 alts, 4 legendaries. All right. Boy. Okay, I really want to click this. I really want to use my free reroll. I want all of that. But I want the 800 gold. We'll fight this next fight. We'll get our next artifact. And it's not likely that the artifact is going to influence what we spend on. But if we were to get something like hammering or something like that, then at least we'd have money in the bank to start taking advantage of it. This character has really high durability. Lots of shields preventing our vulnerables. 15 on shield, huh? Ooh, attack damage plus 80. Vulnerable skill 7 times. Attack damage plus 80 is really good on this champ. What's our current attack damage? 114. That's almost double our attack damage. I gotta take the boxing gloves. Let's take the initial inner fire. Attack tide. Just more attack damage. Curse formation. Really good. Corrosive curse, really good. It's all really good. Let's take it. Let's take it. Swords, shields. We still got 400 gold in the bank. Get a little bit of interest. Ooh, we're hitting hard now. Those boxing gloves, yo. Normal attacks, 11 normal attacks. That was a lot. Okay. Attack suppression. Okay, fine. Let's just do burst damage here. Reroll this. That's got a shield on it. Crit would get us a level. I'm okay with none of this. I don't think a lot of mech is being built. Oh, Frost Champion has a bit of mech. Nah, I don't think it's worth. We'll re-roll that. We'll get away from this garbage. Okay, draft. We're dead last in the draft, right? So we get whatever's left over. We get the garbage at the end. Okay. Alrighty then. Ooh, a lot of mech. There's no way that vulnerable makes it to me. Okay. As expected, I said I recognize that Boom's our main name. So that's our main competitor here. He's got shield champion. We've got a lot of vulnerable. So we've got chances. Here's that gear rewind. I don't mind taking one of those. Preemptive shield. But shield surge is another. I mean, that takes us up another level because we haven't had any of that yet. Crystal blade, when you freeze an enemy, do damage. We have so little frost. We just take the inner fire one. Okay. Here we go. All right, we're overcoming his shields with our vulnerables. He's doing damage on ults with his shield stacks. But because we have vulnerable, we're peeling away his shield stacks and preventing him from doing his gimmick. So, vulnerable for the win on that one. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to any legendary skills. We ended up building like a little bit of everything. So we're not going to get to any. We may get 0 of the legendary skills. Attack suppression again. Man, this minus 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 122 less damage and then also reduce their attack by 60. That's brutal. That's brutal. Yeah, we could take preemptive shield. I guess it helps against people who are trying to put on preemptive vulnerable, so. Oh, boy. Okay. Kind of grinding it out there in the middle, and it started to look bad for a second to me, but we were fine. All right, let's do the shield. Let's definitely do the anti-freezing. As a inner fire champion, stopping the freezing is really good. Gain extra crit. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just take skills. Cremation we'll take. Flame surge, I guess. Reroll. Now we got some more shield stuff. Some more inner fire stuff is probably better. All right. Ooh, this is looking good. Just tons of damage sources going across. Good amount of inner fire. That guy had a bit of frost. We were struggling to build up our inner fire stacks there for a second. I don't want any of this. There. Oh, well, look, we did get a gold skill after all. Attack tide. Yeah, let's just. Oh, look at that. We got 2 gold skills. I thought they were off the menu, but we're getting them offered to us. So, getting frenzy is a big deal. We're going to be throwing so many attacks now. It's going to be insane. Here we go. Phew. All right, he got the mech ult, so frontline gives him an extra mech. And his mechs are big and his shields are... I mean, what it comes down to is normally I don't think this champion would build this much vulnerable, but our vulnerable stacks are peeling away his shields. And that's how we're winning that matchup. Let's do damage on inner fire. That's a pretty big deal. Flying shield. Shield stacks plus 30. I mean, I guess I wouldn't mind getting to 40 shield. Seems fine. All right. And then, I mean, this is just... So one of our vulnerable skills says every second we add vulnerable stacks equal to... where are we at? Just 6 times the number of combat seconds. So as we get up to like 30 seconds, every time it hits, it's putting on like, 180 vulnerable stacks. So at first, we're kind of bumping into each other. But then you see that like over time, we just keep gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. I want the shield, but I got to take inner fire whenever I see it, right? Because we're close to getting the ult on inner fire too. Yeah, Curse Formation, this would take us up to 12 times the X seconds of combat. So yeah, you see it right here at first, his shield stacks and vulnerable stacks were kind of fighting. But as time goes on, I'm getting more vulnerables. And he's not getting more shields. Okay. One last game. We'll play one more. And then I gotta go to work. Gotta go to work, housework. Mike Armstrong says that's gonna do it for me. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for the stream deal. Alright. See you later. He's probably already gone by now because I have to pay attention to the game. All right. Trina says my hair's not the same color. But it could be. The truth is it could be. Going for the triple. We'll see if we can get one more first place. Make sure we maintain our average placement as 1. All right. So let's see. Shield, tech, poison. I would love to play Moriarty. Give me an arena where there is poison and vulnerable both, and there's no spell, and Moriarty is like so fun into that arena. If there's spell, that build will probably lose to spell. All right, we got vulnerable showing. No poison yet. No poison. Poison's crossed off the list. No Moriarty for me. Shield plus vulnerable, spell, healing. Brunhilde is probably just difficulty 1. Interesting. They give her 1 star. I feel like she is not an easy champ to build. I think that like if you take her into an arena where there's no healing, that's a problem. Like she really needs to be able to shield and heal, because her build is always going to be about I just sit over here and stay alive while the enemy slowly dies, right? Burst builds aren't great on Brunhilde. She's a shield champion, so she's defensive by nature. So basically you build good defenses, you build heal, so that you can, you know, heal up what damage the enemy does do to you. So this is a really good arena for her. If people play attack champions, the more they attack you, the more shield stacks you generate. So it's fine. If they go spell into her, it's usually okay. So we will build her with shields, of course. But then we're going to split some vulnerable and some healing. So I'm going to keep what's up right here. We've got Bloody Curse. It's vulnerable plus healing. It's definitely a skill we're going to click. But I am going to just sit on my losing streak. Mana Shield and Heaven Breaker. So we got 2 skills. She's a really strong early game champion, though, so we might not even be able to lose streak with her. If I win 2 in a row, I'm just going to go in and, you know what? Let's just try to use her early game to dominate. So let's do that. I'll try to gain some interest, but let's buy like 1 or 2 skills each time. Random, I don't really want a random. Reborn. Barrel Theory. Could we do a barrel build here? I actually don't mind a barrel build at all. But that does mean when we do a barrel build, we have to collect interest. So that means we pretty much have to just collect interest. So we'll sit on 780. We won't spend money after all. Barrel Theory, the reason I say that is because Barrel Theory, again, everybody else who got an artifact here, who got a good one, you know, over the next few rounds, they're going to be taking advantage of that. Protein powder here, weaponry skills, all in, early bird. Like, there's a bunch of this stuff where people are getting value. Barrel Theory gives you no value until you actually start triggering levels. So what happens is, like, Barrel Theory makes you go very quickly from level 5 to level 10. But until you get to level 5, it doesn't do a lot. So it's kind of that, you know, you have to be efficient with your money, because Barrel Theory is basically a dead artifact. Okay. We lost. That's fine. I mean, I don't mind. We're still only at 1,060 gold, so we're once again just sitting here not buying a skill. We'll try to max out our interest. It's going to give us a boost to heal, and I actually don't mind. There may be a little trick we can do here. If we get heal plus vulnerable, and then we don't get skills, we'll actually be in a position where we can get 2 free points on shield. I don't think I want 2 free points on shield, though. I kind of don't care. I want all the shield skills. Okay, never mind. We're not going to do that after all. We'll just spend our money. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't mind losing this. Then I'll go pretty early on the draft here. First. We get to go first in the draft. Let's grab shield. Yeah, of course. Shield champion grabbing shield. No mystery there, right? Okay, and now, you know, Bloody Curse will take. I don't think I want to go spell with this build, so let's re-roll all these spells. It will be a barrel build. Eventually, I'll be going kind of all over the place with everything. There's a heal. Shield interfere. Let's just take the heal shields for now. Frost. And then we're offered Revival Breath. I think we've got to take Revival Breath here, so we'll just chill. We're at 880 gold. We'll put ourselves back over 1,000. after this combat. Fighting a healer looks like it's going to be a positive experience for us here. She doesn't have enough healing stuff to heal. So with Jenny, I used to think, in prior revisions of this game, Jenny used to be a really awesome champion. But now you got to play her in like 3 phases. The first phase is you just lose to everybody. The second phase is you get enough healing that you stay at full life and you don't ever kill anybody, but they don't kill you either and you win because you're at higher life. And then you build a second skill like evasion or shield, and then eventually you get to the point where you can grind your enemies down that way. Healing Light Spear is going to be good for us. We're definitely going to take that. I'll sit on 990 gold, though. That's full interest. And then we got a monster fight following this. I feel like I'm in a decent spot. Like I said, Brunhilde is a nice early game frame. Like her champion itself is already good at winning. I don't know a better way to put it. Like her kit is good for the early game, because whenever people do basic attacks, you get shields. So just the very basic mechanic of the game of trading attacks, she wins that mechanic. That's what makes her a good early game champion, because even magic users and other people who are going to do something different eventually, they're still just throwing auto attacks at the start of the game. But you'll see here, like all of these guys will finish and get green check marks, and we're still working, right? Like our damage is so bad. Jenny's the only one who takes longer to kill the monster. So Brunhilde, like I said, she's not about burst damage. Counter Strike is way too good. Counter Strike's way too good. I don't want to speak too soon, but I think we just won the arena. I think we just won this one. Counter Strike is that strong. It's really insanely strong. Okay, let's ramp up our damage. Frost counter I don't mind on this champion. Revival Breath gives us more healing mechanics. And then we could take Revival Breath again for even more healing mechanics. And this is where you see, like, we just got level 5, and we're very quickly going to go from 5 to 10. Like I think, like, I literally just picked Counter-Strike, and this next turn will already have gone from 5 to 10. So that's what Barrel Theory does for you. And then after you get to 10, you just kind of don't notice it again. Oh, Bounty Hunter here is not bad. We'll take Bounty Hunter. Now we got to stay on a win streak. And then you won't notice Barrel Theory until you get like level 15, 16, and then suddenly you'll go to 20. Man, getting this Revival Breath maxed out feels pretty good. Get more shield here. We're shield champion. We want that. Vulnerable, we want some of that. Shield Surge, damage reflection. I think Shield Surge is better. Oh my god, it's all good skills. And we get Exsanguinate. Exsanguinate's going to let us gain hit points every time we do an ultimate. Although now this champion's going to make us go to 140 mana to get to our ult, so we're not going to get to Exsanguinate much. But we'll get to add hit points to our champion every time we ult from now on. If I look at statistics here, I'm willing to bet that Counter-Strike is how we did all of our damage. Let's take a look. Yup. 73% of damage with Counter-Strike. Way too good. When taking a normal attack, you deal magic damage equal to 30 plus the shield stacks. So that character was an attack character. They attacked into us like crazy, and we just sat there counter-striking them into the dirt. Oh, whew. This is a good skill. Preemptive Pain is a good skill. My goodness, I want all of that. So I think healing and shield is it. Like, we got to focus on heal and shield, But since we've got barrel theory, the rest of our build is really going to be barrel theory. We're just going to get a little bit of everything whether we like it or not. So let's go ahead and take that preemptive pain. We'll take some more attack here. Healing suppression is probably the best. Healing touch is good though. We gotta activate. Healing touch just heals you every, 0.8 seconds. You get an instance of healing. So even though it's only like, 10 healing or whatever, all of the things that say like when you're healed you gain shields, when you heal you cause frost, all that. It's just another instance of doing all of those things. Attack suppression, ridiculously good on this champ. Preemptive frost, I like it. I mean, just throw some frost on him, make it hard from the start. Colt wound I like. Life plunder's a form of damage. This gets us access to the next rare vulnerable skill. So barrel builds can be really good. I mean, you just get a little bit of everything, right? You put a little bit of frost on people, you do a little bit of vulnerable, you do a little bit of, attack, whatever. So all we have to do is just stay alive and we're going to win with Brunhilde. Saucy McGee was on fire. That was the other champ that's doing well. He's got barrel theory also, plus reborn, building shields, plus vulnerable. Let's just keep stacking stuff. Shield plus health. Healing suppression here for sure. This shield should get us access to our flying shield, which we need. Magic surge. If we wait, we'll get +2 from barrels. We'll get that. All right. With the healing skills that we've got the one that says when you deal damage, there's a 30% chance to heal for 120. So right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get every different type of damage source that we can, right? If we can get frost and then get frost blades, so that every time we do frost we're doing damage. Flying shield, every time we gain a shield we got a chance to do damage. Vulnerable is a source of damage. Healing, we get sources of damage. So even though we're not hitting for very much damage, we always want to be triggering like every bit of damage we can to maximize the amount of healing that we can do. Okay, we'll take the magic surge here. Life plunder seems best, even though there's a shield showing. This is more damage from healing. This is more healing itself. Healing touch improvement or shield. Attack suppression. And we still got 1,100 gold in the bank. We're still maxing our interest right here. So this guy's putting a bunch of frost on us, and you can see that with this build we don't even care about the frost. Like our auto attacks don't even matter. Who cares? Bounty Hunter doing some good work. 780 profit off that Bounty Hunter already. I'm going to re-roll this. Actually, learn from doing wouldn't be bad, but we've already got barrel theory. Yeah, skip it. Shield skills. 7 free shield skills we'll take. Let's take the Corrosive Curse. There's our Crystal Blade finally. Life Plunder is a type of damage. Healing suppression. Frost counter, when we get hit we frost the enemy. Curse surge we haven't taken yet. Life plunder. Do I want this? No, let's re-roll it. Wow, all of that. Oh, Colin's Apple. When we hit with a basic attack, we're going to do vulnerable stacks. That's really strong. That's really strong. That's a lot of vulnerable stacks. Exsanguinate. I feel like we're killing things too fast now. We're actually not, in fact, exsanguinating people. I don't want frost. I didn't think about this before, but I should have avoided frost at all cost. Because if you give the enemy frost, they're doing less attacks against you. And we actually want the enemy to be doing more attacks into us. Anti-freezing? I'll take that, I guess. This is another source of vulnerable. I feel pretty good. We got tons of vulnerable stuff. We got tons of damage sources. We've got healing as our main stat right now for survivability. Rule number 1, don't die. Rule number 2, let the enemy kill themselves on your counter strikes. Although Counter-Strike didn't do much for us in that combat. Interesting. Oh, they're giving me shields. Come on, guys. Giving a shield champion shields? That's crazy. 1,200 gold in the bank. My God, I've got so much money. What do I do with all this money? I think we'll take the heal. I'm just going to click buttons because, yeah, I don't mind this. We'll take Hex. We'll re-roll this crit stuff. That's probably the thing that we don't need. Get some shields. Get some vulnerable. Attack suppression's too good to pass up. Mana Spring. Thunder Force. Okay, we're down to 350 gold now. We've spent in most of it. All right, and we survived the big lightning bolt lady. That's a good sign. All right. And then, like I said, Barrel Theory helped us cross the gap from 19 to 20. So we're going to be able to get level 20 here pretty quickly. Attack suppression, of course. A couple vulnerables would get us another level. This is shield. Spell. Attack tide. I don't know. Let's just... Hey, adrenaline we'll take. Preemptive pain we'll take. Click buttons. Get skills. Profit. Wow. Getting that heal alt, that's... I mean, even if we go to 0 now, we're going to heal ourselves. Counter-Strike for the win, right? Oh, statistics reset because we're fighting a monster. 24 health would be something I would like. Heal on an alt. We could go weaponry as well. Preemptive pain. That's a lot of stacks of preemptive pain. Preemptive frost. That's a lot of stacks of preemptive frost. Life plunder. Frozen touch. I think we'll take the weaponry attack suppression. My goodness. And then we get more hex. Enemy armor minus 60. Layered peaks. Here's our Counter-Strike matchup again. Oh man. Look at that vulnerable damage, y'all. We're doing insane vulnerable damage. Enemy armor minus 60. I don't think, since we're doing so much vulnerable damage, I don't think we care. Layered peaks will just add more survivability. Layered peaks gives us more shields when our passive triggers. So every time they do a basic, we get even more shields now. Oh, take Hex. Devouring Blade. Bloody Curse is good. Oh, Frenzy? Come on. Do you remember when I played Mina and I couldn't get it to give me a spell book to save my life? And now it's just like throwing good skills at me. We definitely have a barrel build though. Oh my goodness. Oof. Good thing we have that healing alt, or we'd have been dead right there. Yikes. That second lightning bolt almost blew our eyes out. Okay. Do this. Healing suppression will finish. Why not? This is a source of more life. Healing touch. Curse formation. Corrosive curse I think is better for us right here. And finally we're going to get an iron skin. After all of this time, oh my god, that's a lot of attacks. Finally we're going to get iron skin. I don't know if you guys saw that. Look at this. The entire screen is littered with attacks. Unrivaled Frenzy says there's a 40% for the attack for the chance to burst. And burst gives you like a random like 1 to 6 extra attacks. And I got a couple instances there where it gave me like an insane amount of extra attacks. The whole board was like full of attacks flying across. Looked pretty cool. Okay, here's that iron skin finally. Healing Spring or Healing Touch? Healing Spring. Crit is like 23. So if we take crit, we'll get level 22. Whatever, it's fine. We'll take Attack Tide off that next. I still don't have 40 in any skill. That's interesting. I've got like 24 in almost everything, but I don't have 40 in anything. Okay. We'll get to level 25 here shortly, right? We'll get health, we'll get frost next turn, we'll get spell somewhere in there. So we're pretty close to all of that. Life plus spell. Sky Splitter Slash is really good. That's definitely something we're going to take. Crit training, let's just take crit. Preemptive Shield we'll take next turn. And then we'll have level 25. All right, here we go. Sky Splitter Slash is so big. In arenas that have no mech, you just eat half your opponent's life instantly. In arenas that have mech, of course, you're dividing that. You're doing half of their life in true damage, but they get to divide that with their mechs. So it's much less impressive. Let's just say it's more impressive when there's no mech, right? Because then you see half their life bar just disappear instantly. That's pretty fantastic. All right, there we go. There's Frost. Here's our last. On combat, shield self for 1,000. Okay. More defense. Magic damage hits. Yeah, I think we'll just take crit training here. Anti-freezing seems okay. Magic surge. Just click buttons. All right. Should be our last battle anyway, right? So, my goodness, that was a lot of basic attacks. Look at them all. So the whole screen's just filled with little, and I didn't get a single skill to 40. Truly a barrel build. All right, that's gonna wrap it up. 3 games. It's just 3 games, right? 3 games, first place each game, I believe. Match history. Yeah, 3 games we did, got first each time. Ranked league, we're ranked 22. We're number 22 in the game for this server. All right, y'all. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. End of stream things like subscribe, notification bell, all that stuff. Looks like we might have just got some people in here on a raid. I'm playing Alpha League there at the end, but I mean, you could go back and watch my GAC at the start. It's entertaining. We did a JAC. We also did a little, discussion about real life stuff somewhere in there. If you're interested in that kind of thing, check it out. We got a nice Discord community. The guild that I'm in recently had an opening. So if anybody watching this is interested in a guild, come over there, check that out. I think we may have already picked a candidate for Foundlings, but there's also a rogue sister guild. And so if you're interested in that stuff, go over to the Discord server, check it out. Check into the guild with the leadership. And even if you don't get in this time, you know, maybe in the future, if there's an opening, you can be first on the list to join us. It's a really nice guild. It's competitive. It's we punch up in raids and territory wars and all that stuff. So thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next Holocron.